Jones. I am back with another one. I'm just pretty much hanging out right here. Yeah. So this morning I was escorted out of the Palms Casino this morning. And it's so funny because it happened like right after I was talking about this lady not washing her hands. It's so funny how things happen. I don't know, 33 could be significant. I've been seeing threes a lot for these last few days, so it could be significant to something. I don't have any cards with me, so I won't be doing cards. It's just some stuff that was on my mind, some other stuff that I channel, just a bunch of stuff here and there. So yeah, this morning I was kicked out of the Palms Casino. And like I was saying, it's so funny because it was right after I made it actually wasn't a comment. Y'all know how this goes. When you're in a world of being gang stalked and a bunch of other stuff is going on, I kind of get harassment from unsuspecting places, and it's so funny because originally they're the ones who told me to come in. I didn't even want to go inside the casino. They had like plugs on the outside, so I figured I'd just sit there on like the outside. It was kind of near the door, so I figured they probably just didn't want me to sit by the door right there. Because the way I was sitting like right next to my devices, I could have sat outside, actually on the bench outside, but I wasn't. I was sitting like right next to my devices, kind of on the ground, and it probably did look funny then. So, I understood the whole thing of them not wanting me to sit right there, but it's so funny because they were so nice that first night. They told me to come in, invited me in. The girl asked me if I wanted something to drink and everything. Now, evidently, whoever was watching the camera sent her down to say something to me that day. But she asked me if I wanted to come in. Told me they just didn't like the way that it looked sitting out there. I can come in and charge my phone, either sitting at the bar or go to any one of the machines and just sit down and charge my phone. It's so funny because once I got in, you could clearly see other people do this regularly. Just come in, sit down, and charge their phones from the machines. Nothing's ever said so. Because they invited me in the first time, I didn't go in. I never did. My stuff was already. It's like they caught me right at the end of it charging, so I just went ahead and left. But I've been going in there for like the last couple of weeks, and I've been charging my devices out of the way of everybody, just like they told me. A lot of times when people start moving, because y'all know how this works for me, it's like when I move, you move type of thing. And so I've noticed, you feel the energy shift, and the people who move when you move, you sit in a certain area, all of a sudden the area is overcrowded, and you know I would say if you've been keeping up, but I haven't really been posting about it. I'm gonna start uploading a lot more of my videos on here because I have so much stuff over time, y'all, with me talking about the same stuff and how it's kind of followed me from Georgia. Speaking of Georgia, I just seen 404 on the phone. But I've been talking about how it's kind of just followed me from Georgia over here, way here where I'm at now, which is Las Vegas, and it's funny. So yeah, nothing's changed. You sit in a particular area, you try to be by yourself, but you are literally consumed. Like you are surrounded by people at all times, people who watching you for whatever purposes they have, whether it's to try to almost inhale your energy, whether it's just for harassment, or in some cases, people seem to want to watch you just for their pleasure. Almost like they watch you and then they turn back around. They go and make jokes out of whatever it is that you're going through. And so it's so funny because on my way to the casino, that's what I was thinking about. These specific, I guess you can call them local comedians because they haven't really gotten anywhere yet. They just trying to come up and do stuff. And I was just thinking about certain situations I've had and certain things that I've seen them post referencing me a lot on different occasions. So I'm walking. And of course, y'all know, I mean, I have nobody around me, so I'm thinking everything. And yeah, once I start posting my videos, you'll hear me talk a lot about thinking stuff and then watching people move off my thoughts. If you on this channel, you already know what's going on. Like y'all not naive on this channel, so I figure if you watch it, you know what's going on. And so yeah, I could talk a lot about people moving off my thoughts or whatever. So whole time I'm walking there, it was like a 20-minute walk. I left my car where it was and walked down there. Whole time I'm walking, I'm just thinking about different things regarding them and the way they do things and the way that people just move off money. It's no morals, no integrity when it comes down to doing stuff. They do it for the clout. Like they do it for the gram, they do it for the celebrityism, whatever they can do it for. And so I'm thinking about this as I'm walking to the casino. It's funny. First thing I did is went in the restroom. The whole time I'm in there, you can hear different people coming in and out, in and out. But the one lady in particular, she was talking and she was saying how she won this money. And she was like, yeah, I took this money and I won something from it. I'm going to give you something because I won something. I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's so sweet. Because I was just listening to something on, I think it was IG the other day, when they were arguing about the lady got left at the casino because she didn't have any money when she went. And evidently she won something from the $5 that the girl had given her. And she didn't give the girl anything and the girl left her there. I guess she felt entitled to have something. Everybody moves different when it comes down to money. So it's so funny. Evidently that one girl felt entitled to the girl's money because she loaned her $5. The girl gave her the $5 back. But she didn't give her anything extra from the $500. I think it said that the girl was winning anyway. And so I was thinking about that video thinking, oh man, that's so sweet. She actually going to give somebody something because evidently she was left or she was there by herself or something because she was saying she was waiting for whoever it was to come, maybe to come get her or something. So evidently she was there by herself. Which I also was thinking maybe that was some type of incentive for somebody to come back and get her. And so I'm hearing her conversation because she's talking loud and, and on speakerphone, by the way. And so I'm hearing her conversation. And I hear her as she flushes the toilet, leave out of the stall. And she lingers over by the sinks, but I never hear the sink actually turn on. I never hear her wash her hands or the napkins or anything like that. All you hear is silence. And so clearly she just walked out of the bathroom. I'm thinking, oh man, that's nasty. 911, I just seen I've been seeing 911 a whole lot too, y'all. 919 as well. I just looked down and seen that. So anyway, I was thinking, oh man, that's nasty. Y'all know me in my mind. I go to thinking about other stuff. When I see certain things, it make me think about other things. So now my mind is completely going with this. She didn't wash her hands. And so after a few more minutes of being in there, me moving around, she came back in there. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if this the same lady or somebody different, but this sure sounds like the same lady who came back in the bathroom. Went in the stall again, did whatever she did in the stall. And this was like, y'all, like 2 minutes later, right back in the bathroom, right back in the stall. And it didn't dawn on me then, but now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like she was trying to be funny then. And you're gonna know why when I keep going. Okay, so she leaves out the bathroom again. Did not wash her hands again. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, is that somebody different? Because they all sound like, kind of like they got this Hispanic in them. They sound like they have Spanish in them. And I've been at another restaurant, and I'm debating on whether or not I want to say where I was then, but I noticed that some of the crew came in the bathroom then, and they left out without washing their hands at all. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is the people going back into the kitchen. I don't want nothing else to eat. I don't want anything else to eat out of there. But just so happened, I didn't get anything to eat that day after I seen that, but just so happened the shift was changing anyway, so they eventually went home. And then I got to thinking, as I was thinking about that, and the people down there not washing their hands, of course you go to thinking about other stuff. And I remember watching this TV show, and I don't know what the show was named, but I caught just a glimpse of it on my phone. And the show, um, Whoopi Goldberg, and then they have a few other people. It's like a cast. It's like a morning show or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but I caught a glimpse of that. And they were talking then about people not washing their hands. And the Spanish girl on there, I think she was Spanish. She was saying she don't wash her hands at home. She'll do it in the public for the sake of other people, but she doesn't wash her hands at home when she uses the restroom. And so I got to thinking, is that just a Spanish thing? Because this lady in the bathroom, she sounded like she was Hispanic. Once I seen her, she looked less Hispanic and kind of more black, so I'm assuming maybe she was mixed with something. I kept hearing her say she hate this country. And so, maybe she came from somewhere else. I was thinking, there's a lot of stuff I hate about here too. And anyway, all of this mind you, I'm just thinking all of this, never saying any of it, because who do I have to talk to? But I'm thinking about it. Still tripping off, she ain't washed her hands. She done been in the bathroom at this point like 3 times and ain't washed her hands, not one time leaving out of it. I don't know if she actually used it them second 2 times she went into the stall. I don't know what she was in there doing. But she did flush, and I did hear her use it the first time. And so I know she didn't wash her hands. And so I sit right there where I normally sit, and I charge my phones. Because mind you, I've been doing this for a few weeks now. Sit right there where I normally sit, either right there or I sit at the bar. And so, because I came out and there was no one right there this time, I was like, okay, maybe I'll sit right here for a minute and then I'll switch over to the bar a little later. Not just sit right here the entire time. Because I know how my energy seems to draw people in, and I feel almost invaded by people when I just want privacy. I want to kind of want to stay in my own zone. I feel almost invaded by people, and so I move around. But I sit there, stuck all my things in the plug right there where I normally sit down, and I couldn't have been there for 5 minutes, and here come Gold Girl again. It's like the, 4th time? 14, I just seen on the clock. So here she come again. Goes into the bathroom, comes back out. And the first thing she does is look at me and she goes, "You look happy." And so at this point, I'm knowing what it is that she's doing, because after I had the first thought, it's like she kind of lingered around and came back in the bathroom several more times. Act like she was slightly irritated about something the second time she came in there. That's when she was, I hate this country and all of that. The extra stuff she was doing. So when I sat down, I hadn't been sitting there for no more than like 5 minutes. And she came back around went in the bathroom, came back out, and was like, "You look happy." All I said was, "Thank you." I knew she was being sarcastic. Still not understanding why she was even, talking to me. I try to be nice about it, so I just say thank you. And she comes to the machine right next to me, and she's pulling out this card and she's talking to herself, but kind of trying to talk loud enough for me to hear her. I don't know why. I don't have any points in this thing, and I've spent over $2,000 here already. Oh yeah, I do have points. Look at that. And I was just thinking to myself before she said, "Oh yeah, I do have points. Look at that." It's like you probably have a little bit more luck if you wash the dirt off your hands, wash the piss off your hands. The nasty stuff you get when you wipe yourself. I don't know if you. I mean, do you wipe yourself at this point? Because I don't know, y'all. But anyway, I'm sitting there. That was my thought when she was talking to herself, trying to make me overhear her, sending subliminal messages. I put over $2,000 in this machine. That ain't got nothing to do with you being nasty. You're in a public place. What you do at home is your business. And it's funny because the way I'm out here and the way they talk about me and they trash talk me every day on a regular. I get all kind of cyber bullied, and the harassment has been a lot less than normal, y'all. But it's still there nonetheless. It's still there. And so I'm thinking about all the stuff that I go through. And I'm in a situation right now I didn't put myself in. It's like people went out the way to try and destroy me. This was a collective effort of people in different communities, people in Atlanta and people here in Las Vegas. This was a collective effort of people trying to destroy me. So I'm thinking to myself, all the harassment and all the talking that people do when it is regarding me and stuff that I have no control over at this moment. Right now, you're just going through the motions. When they celebrate people like that and they give them all the praise in the world, and then I got to thinking about, you know, how you used to be out there and people be thinking about the way that you smell, and then how all of a sudden my stuff started being torn down and they start, like, a lot of stuff came out. This pheromone perfume, all of these different things about how women want to smell good, but it's like at the same time I was kind of already beginning to be torn down out of not smelling good. So they done all kind of things to try and manipulate my natural essence, and then they tried to almost reinvent it into like a bottle, like an AI type of form. And so I was thinking, what I would give off normally is something that, again, they tried to remake and put it in a bottle so they can sell it out to people. And it's so funny. Again, y'all know my mind be going everywhere. So I'm thinking about all of this at one time, real quick. Just a bunch of thoughts that I was having really quick. And she eventually walked off. It's like she said what she said real quick and then just walked off. She didn't play the machine. She did exactly what she was there to do, make the comment that she made. She wanted me to know how much money she spent, if that was even the truth. And y'all know, again, how people, they move off your thoughts. It's like they break these spiritual laws to be able to do these things, like to hear your thoughts. They can't just be normal in a place. It's like they be tuned in, and then they have the nerve to get mad about it. How you get mad about me thinking about you washing your hands? But then again, the energy could have very well came from my whole thought process when I was walking to the casino, when I was thinking about all the wannabe, what do you call them now? The comedians, all the wannabe comedians that's trying to earn their little spot of fame. So when I'm thinking about it after the fact, it's like you don't know where that energy was coming from. Because I felt like originally, 2022 was just on the follow. I felt like originally it was coming from my old girl because you can tell the movements that she made after I said what I said or after I was thinking what I thought. You can tell, her kind of lingering to say something. Like she wanted to say something other than what she said. And I guess that was her way of saying something by telling me how much money she spent in the casino. Which I didn't care about any of that. Hell, if I had $2,000, I wouldn't be spending it here. And when I did have it, it was at my own will. It was stuff that I was doing. It was my own money, and I wasn't spending nobody else's. I feel like a lot of people like that. They spend other people's money. They have access, and it takes me back to what I was thinking about. The spells and stuff that they do. That's another thing that crossed my mind. And so I was thinking about how I've read what people will do. Well, for one, I've heard where like the Caribbean people would squat and almost over squat over rice. It's almost like a little steam pot over rice. And that's what they do to make people fall in love with them. It's all kind of love spells you can do. And I was also thinking, when that crossed my mind, I was thinking about the way that people use their their bodily fluids to attract 2202, y'all. Again, tuition. How they use their bodily fluids to attract certain people into their, life. Is almost like to make certain people come their way. They would take their finger and rub it on their private parts. 222, y'all, at 2220. I keep seeing those twos every time I look at the timer. But how they would rub their fingers in their bodily parts and rub it on their neck, rub it on a person, touch their face or their head or something with it. And it's supposed to set off some type of, it almost like, it's like a dog sniffing out something. It sets off something in the brain of a male to make them want to come after you. And a lot of people will use their bodily parts to attract certain men, especially men with money who they have easy access to, who they can just walk up on and say something, do something. And so that's how a lot of these people, or, this is how a lot of them are guided. In my head, I'm thinking about guiding, because that's how a lot of them are just taken completely over. And they're so, like, by people who are way beneath them, by people who you wouldn't even think they would deal with. And that's because they give so many people, like too many of the wrong people, access to be able to walk up that close like that. And it's so funny because I'm thinking about all of that. And that's what that was one of the things I had running through my mind as old girl was moving around like she was moving. Is that how you get the money? How you have over $2,000 to spend? I mean, she could have been a go-getter, but she didn't appear to be that. And I could be petty and mention a bunch of reasons why I could tell you, but I'm not even gonna go there with it. We're gonna stick with the basics. So, yeah. So I was thinking to myself, is that how you get what it is that you got to just play with? You just got money to blow? Because that's how people do it. And it's so funny because that's probably what was being done the whole time before I stepped out on the scene. And that's what I'm thinking. But when I stepped out, I have a certain way that I carry myself. your energy exudes from the inside out. And so all of these certain things were natural about me, and it's what I've noticed that they've been trying to tear down over time, all the things that came natural to me. While I've also noticed in the same token, they're trying to make it seem like a lot of things come natural to them that are not natural, y'all. It's not natural. So you got to be careful when you're around certain people. And that's anybody. That's the comedians, that is the singers, that's the rappers, that is anybody, both big and small, from the people who appear to be somebodies to the people who are nobodies. You have to be very careful who you're around and who you allow in your energy, because for one, they will invade your privacy, and they will know more about your life than you know about your life, because they've dug into you already just by even being around you. And so you wonder why you have certain things of yours that are being torn down, while they're trying to build themselves up with this AI type of energy, like this artificial type of energy. And it's only going to work to attract more artificial people. Real recognize real. And in the same token, fake is going to recognize fake. So if you are being fake out here in these streets and you're trying to give off an energy that you really don't have any within you, and that's what you're going to attract, a bunch of other fake people. And so I'm thinking about all of this. I'm down here at this different place now. Just sitting here doing the same thing when my device is charged. Yeah. And so long story short, you definitely have to be careful around people like that. And I'm slightly irritated because he came directly after her, y'all. She walked off. Like I said, I hadn't been sitting there 5 minutes when she came back around. She been walking in and out, kind of in and out. Ever since I made that thought, it was like she was kind of lingering, wanting to say something. And she said whatever it was she wanted to say. I guess she wanted to make the point that at least she had the money to spend. But, it takes me back to one of those videos that I watched and scrolling on TikTok. And the girl was like, don't y'all be out here bragging about the stuff you have for sucking that old man dingling, because other people not out here doing what y'all do to get the money. And so I don't know whether that's the case or not, but again, when my mind gets going, it goes, y'all. And like I said, I think about a little bit of everything. And so that was one of the things that I thought about as well. It's like she want to go out the way to brag about the money she's spending, but that don't have nothing to do with you being nasty. But I guess that's how they get the money, by being nasty. And it makes me wonder how much of that was going on before I actually came outside to play, Because the way that I live my life, I've been inside. You can almost say I've been like secluded. I've been stuck or trapped in my own house, in my own world, because it was always something else for me to focus on, raising kids, just in survival mode. And so when my kids got to be adults and I finally got a chance to just live for me, you go outside in the scene and you start to see that you really wasn't missing nothing, because people outside are trash. And not them all, y'all. Not everybody is like that, but when you're around certain people, you start to kind of see what it is they're moved off of. And most people are just not good people, y'all. They're just not. Most people will do anything for money. Most people are do anything for clout. Um, Even the ones you see lifted up and they're attached to these so-called celebrities, and they ain't shit, y'all. And it's like they don't vet these people before they allow them to be around them. It almost seems like the more you're not shit, the more you're likable. When you hold yourself to a certain standard, it's like you make yourself the outcast of the group. Um, Instead of them wanting to include you in it, they try to push you away from it because they feel threatened in a sense. And so you'll find them, when you're a person who respects yourself, you will notice that they will push you out of these groups and they will almost ostracize you, try to make you look or feel a certain way. But in the background, they're secretly trying to be you. It's like they don't want you to be a part of it because they don't like the attention that maybe you're getting from the way you're carrying yourself. And so they would push you out of this, and then they would start to mimic you. They would start to do things like you. And if you sit back and just kind of observe long enough, like you'll see it. You will see it. It don't take your third eye to be open to have to see certain things, y'all. All it takes is your mouth to be closed sometimes. Just sit down and shut up. Just be quiet and observe. Don't be so talkative. Don't try to include yourself where you're not being included. Just sit back and observe what's going on, and you will see that it's like they take in the people with the lowest self-esteem first. These are the groups that you see out there. They run in cliques. Their self-esteem is through the floor, y'all. The ones you see like that, but those are the same ones that you will get up on the stage and they'll talk about the people who are by themselves because they don't know what it feels like to be by themselves. And you know, those people like that truly don't know themselves. All they know is what they see around them, and so they mold themselves off what it is that they see in other people. And those people are like the worst. Those are the ones that need to sit down with themselves the most. But they ain't not. They're not going to sit down with themselves. But they'll sit down with everybody else, and they'll take on everybody else's energy, and they'll try to inhale everybody else's essence. And in some cases, they'll even sit down and talk about you and your life after they've picked through it and learned everything about you and took all of the good things they wanted to take from you, and they'll pick through the rest of it and try to continue to ostracize you, continue to push you out of these groups, continue to try and oppress you, to make you not be able to accomplish certain things, to make you be held back on a certain level. Why it looks as if they're steadily growing, but the truth is they're not growing. It just may look that way because what they're doing is they're pushing you down. They're pushing you away. And because there's so many of them, it can even shake your self-esteem because it'll have you looking at yourself like, what am I doing? When the truth is, they're all just threatened by you and what it is you have to offer. And so yeah, this I know I've kind of went way off of what I started with, but I don't know, somebody out there needs to hear that. Somebody out there maybe trying to fit in where they don't belong and trying to blend with the group who may really be beneath them. But because there's so many of them and they may roll with these certain class of people, you may feel like you're beneath them, but don't feel that way. Because these people are threatened by you and the way that you carry yourself and the way your self-esteem is set up and the way you don't need validation from anybody. They're threatened by that. And so just know that you are the shit. You know, you are it, exactly what you feel like you are. You have that self-esteem for a reason because you walk it like you talk it. That's not what they're used to. These people are used to giving illusions and being delusional and summoning other people's energy. They can't sit in their own because their own energy is toxic. So yeah, I don't know, y'all. I just have to get that off my chest because it's so funny that I still have to deal with stuff like this and from people like this. And I was just literally walked out of the casino, escorted out by this man. Looked like he's probably about 400 pounds, about 6'4", 6'5", something like that, tall, big man. Y'all seen him? But I haven't posted him on here, but go to my Travel Choice channel on TikTok. He's posted on there. Travel Choice ATL. And so yeah, it's like the steady harassment and the people who try to send subliminal messages. And I know this all came from the stuff that I was thinking, but if y'all just quietly mind your own business and do stuff to fix yourself, then you wouldn't have to worry about what it is that I'm thinking or what it is that I'm doing. You know, if your self-esteem was where it should be, then what I was thinking in my mind wouldn't shake you because you know who you are. But because these people out here, again, they seek validation from the outside world and they're used to giving illusions and making their life appear to be a certain way that it's really not, then this is the result of it. It's like you constantly have people attacking you and you're constantly dealing with this negative energy and it's for no reason. It's like if I said something out of my mouth that offended you, then by all means be woman enough or man enough to say, hey, I'm offended by that. But if no one says anything, y'all have to know how stupid you look and how stupid it feels to have someone reacting off of your thoughts. And that's why God don't allow certain gifts to be open on certain people before it's time. Because you don't know how to act with them. You don't know how to actually control it. But people will go out of their way and listen to videos and do all kind of weird shit to open up these senses and sleep with certain people. Again, do all kind of weird stuff to open up these senses, and then they don't know how to handle them. And the result is usually them doing some type of black magic or some type of voodoo or hoodoo over you or something like that. Which brings me to a point. I was watching another video when the lady was saying she doesn't do it anymore, but when she did do the magic, the voodoo, the hoodoo over people, it would be like, okay, so this person is acting funny with me now. This person feels like they're too good. So I'm going to spider web them. And the spider web thing is to keep you at a standstill. It's exactly what it sounds like. When something's caught in a spider web, they can't move. It's like they're waiting, just there, waiting to die. And that's pretty much what they will do to people's lives. They would have them in this stuck energy where they're not moving forward with anything. And just to think that people will spider web you, not because you're acting funny with them, but because they believe you're acting funny with them, but because they believe that you are better than them, because they look at you and they're threatened by you, and this is why they would do stuff like that. And so, yeah, this is what you get. The people who look at you, they feel threatened by you, and that's the type of energy that they do. They hear what it is you have to say, or hear what it is that you're not saying, and they would go back and they would send you this dirty energy, and they would do these spells over you and over your life to try, in their mind, is to humble you. But like the girl was saying on a video I watched last night, it's really them who needs the humbling. It's really them who have went out the way to have these gifts that they should not have, to open up these gifts that shouldn't be open at the time. And because they don't know how to handle it, they're looking at others and they're angry at others who just exude that energy naturally, who's able to attract, who's able to manifest, and they're looking at you and they're upset about your forward movement, and so they'll do what they have to do to try to stop it. And it's sad, a lot of people don't see the world like that. A lot of people can't, they can't grasp the concept of things like that will happen in the world. Like, a lot of people don't believe in stuff like that, and so a lot of people get done like that and don't even realize that they're being done like that because they don't believe in it. But I don't know, I guess I'm just here to tell you, you should not only believe in that, but you should believe in yourself and know who it is that you are and where you stand, so that people like that, regardless of what kind of energy they send at you or what kind of magic they do to try to stop your life or put you on hold, know that it's because they see themselves as being beneath you. And it's probably where you see them too, after seeing what it is that they are capable of doing. And so the only thing you can do in that case is try. Maybe pray that something clicks in those people in their head to make them realize where the problem really lies. Because if you're hating and you're being hateful to a person who hasn't done anything to you, then that's something you need to fix within yourself. And the problem is, you may have too many people around you who are also followers like you. Maybe if you get around some true leaders or somebody like the person you're trying to tear down, then you would learn how to build yourself up and how to have your own self-esteem, and how you don't have to do certain things in life to get ahead. You can simply just fix yourself, and the things that you want will come to you naturally. So I've been talking for 45 minutes, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I'll be back.